ICP4 is to stream data using the log file generator. We want to stream the live data using the log file generator in the Spark streaming. Let us look into the code. We are initially creating this streaming object with timer 6, which implies that this would be running for every 3 seconds. Then we are creating the text file stream, specifying the location from where to read the file's data. We want it to read the data from the log folder, and after getting the words, after reading the data, we want to split the data using space so that we would be getting the words, and we want to count the word, implement the word count. So for each word we are mapping it to 1, and in the reducer phase we are adding up all the ones to get the actual count of the word, and we are printing it. So let us run the streaming. Okay, the streaming is running, and now we want to give the data. Initially there are no files in the log folder, so we want to create the files in the log folder parallelly. So in this one we are taking the lorem text file. This is the lorem text file which has plain text, and we are reading it with R, we want with read access, and we want to create 30 files in the log folder. So we are taking a equal to 1, and we are repeating the loop until it reaches 30. We are counting the total lines in the file, and we are storing it in the variable total line. Now we want to generate a random number between 0 and the total number of lines in the file, so that from that random number we want to read it to the end of the file. We are opening the log file. Each time in the loop it would be opening, first time it would be opening log1.txt, and the last time it would be opening the log30.txt with the right axis, and then we are writing it to the file, the content in the file from the particular random number line to the end of the file. If the random number generator is 40 and the total number of lines are 50, then we are writing the data from 40 to 50 lines into the log file. And after creation of each log file, we are putting it the thread to sleep for 5 seconds, and then again the next iteration would be starting. So let us run this. And as the log files are being generated, so we can see that the log files are being generated over here. We are writing it to the log folder. So we can see that the data is being, the word count is being fetched over here in the streaming parallelly when the files are being, log files are being generated. So this is the output of the first task. Moving on to the next task, we would like to implement it using the TCP socket. So I'm giving the port number 4000. So the data from the port number 4000, we would be receiving it over here, and for that data we would be implementing the same word count. The data that we are receiving from the port number 4000, we are storing it into the lines, and for each line we are splitting it, for the lines we are splitting it with space so that we would be getting all the words, and for the words we are mapping it with 1 for each word, each time, each occurrence of the word, and in the reducer we are summing up all the ones who would be getting the actual count of the word, and then we are printing it. So let me just run this first. Okay, while I'm running this, let me run it in the over here. Cat -L, and the port number is 4000 as I have given over there. And if I'm entering any words over here, so I'm entering the words over here, we can check it in the word count. As we can see, we are getting the count of the data that we are giving in the terminal. We would be getting the count for the same data over here. This is about the second task. And moving on to the next task, we are getting the count over here. Moving on to the next task, we would it is similar to the word count, but over there we would be grouping all the words of the same length together. For example, all the words of length 2 will be displayed together and all the words of the length 3 will be displayed together. So the code would be similar, only the map reduce logic would be changing. In the map, the key would be the length of the word, because we want to group all the 2-letter words together, so that the key should be 2. So we are making the key as length of the word and the word itself as a value, so that at the end, when we are appending all the values, we would be getting all the list of the words that we were that length. So let me just change the port number and run it. Let's just open a terminal and cat L, and the port number is 7000. And let me just give the word. And car and CA, apple, cap, cat, like that. And then we would be seeing the length of the words along with the words in the terminal. And in this, only change in the logic would be that the key would be the length of the word and the value would be the word itself, so that we would be getting the list of the words, and we can see the count over here. And this is all about the ICP.